Hi, in this video we're going to change the subject to the formula where the subject is inside a fraction with a square root. We saw that step one is that we want to isolate the subject on one side of the equation. Now, I know x is already on one side of the equation, but it's currently trapped inside this fraction and this square root. So we want to kind of free everything up first. So what might we do first? Well, the outermost thing in this expression is the square root, right? So to get rid of the square root, I want to square both sides. Let's do that. So we're going to square both sides. And the left-hand side just becomes y squared. And when we square the right-hand side, the squared cancels out the square root, just leaving the x over x minus 1. So we're kind of like peeling away the sort of outer layers of this onion here. Now, we also don't like this fraction here. The x is sort of trapped inside the fraction. Now, to get rid of the fraction, we just multiply through by the denominator. So if we multiply by this denominator of x minus 1, on the left-hand side, we have y squared multiplied by x minus 1. We'll expand that bracket out in a second. And on the right-hand side, when we multiply by x minus 1, it cancels out that over x minus 1. So we're just left with the x in the numerator, right? Now, we still want to free everything up, get everything out into the open. So we do the thing on front of the bracket times each thing inside. So y squared times x is xy squared. We put them in alphabetical order. And y squared times minus 1 is minus y squared. And that's equal to x. Now that everything is nice and free, we can apply these steps on the right. So we want to isolate the subject, the x terms, on one side of the equation. So we've got an x term here, and we've got an x term here. Now, should we get the x terms on the left or the right? Now, I think it's better to get it on the left in this particular case because I can move this x over here by subtracting it. So I'd have x squared minus x. And then I could move this minus y squared over to the other side by making it plus y squared, by adding y squared to both sides. Whereas if I did it the other way around, if I subtracted xy squared from both sides, I'm going to end up with minus y squared equals x minus xy squared. And there's kind of like too many negatives floating about. You want to try and move stuff to the side where you have as many positive terms as possible because it just looks nicer. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move this y squared over here by adding y squared. And I'm going to move this x over here by subtracting x. So if we subtract x from both sides, I'm going to get xy squared minus x. And if I subtract x on this side, it just disappears. And I also want to add y squared to both sides. So adding y squared gets rid of that. And I want to add y squared over here. So it's effectively like moving the term to the other side of the equation, but changing the sign. Now that's good. We've got all the x terms on the left-hand side, and the non-x terms are on the other side of the equation. So now we do step 2, factorize out the subject. So we factorize out x, put a bracket, x times what is xy squared, what's y squared, x times what is minus x, well, it's minus 1. And then the final step, it says, is to divide appropriately. So x has currently been multiplied by all of y squared minus 1. So to get rid of the times by y squared minus 1, we do the opposite. We divide by y squared minus 1. So let's do that. We're going to divide both sides of the equation by all of that bracket y squared minus 1. The left-hand side, you're just left with x. And the right-hand side, we get y squared over y squared minus 1. We don't need to put that in brackets. So that is the final answer. We've got x on one side of the equation on its own. So x is now the subject of the formula.